Nearly saw my legs then. Oh my God, last time you saw legs like that, they were hanging out of a nest. Hello everybody, welcome to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. Today, we're a bit wonky. Straighten up, Mark. Oh, straighten up. Yeah. Straighten yourself up, lad, come on. Is it a bit wonky that way now? I feel like I'm on the Titanic. Shut up, be serious, or else people will just go away and think you're a joke, okay? Be serious, especially in the spiritual field, be serious. Then people will take you serious. Okay, so if you have already done Mark Bajerski Tarot course, then I want to say thank you with all my heart. I don't know why these past 2 or 3 months it's been predominantly tarot courses, one of the top selling products on markbajerski.com. I think people are telling each other, which is a lovely thing. It is a good course, even though I say so myself. So yeah, I want to say thanks. Just thank you so much. So we're going to move on from there because you didn't explain everything, Mark. This is a message which is true. You're right. It's very difficult to explain everything in 10 hours, especially when you've been doing it for 2 decades. Okay, 10 hours, 2 decades, bit challenging, but I did as much as I did the best I could. But let's make this a follow-up. Okay, so this is part of the tarot course. This is a freebie for you. Okay, so let's move on then. Welcome to Mark Bajerski's extended tarot course. Today we're going to talk about how to shuffle. And I don't mean dancing, I mean shuffle the cards. We're going to go into all aspects of the cards. Sorry about the noise, there's nothing I can do with outside noises, but I've got all the windows shut, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. I've got the music in the background, but so many people have said, don't like the music, turn it off or turn it down. So it's so difficult to get everything just right to suit you guys. Oh, it's too far away, I can't hear you. Oh my God, I just stop. Okay, 2 sets of cards here. This was the deck that I used on the tarot course, as you will all be familiar with. And this is the smaller deck that we use when we're working with friends and family and clients, okay? But today I'd like to use the bigger cards so you can see better. So here's the cards. Now let's talk about shuffling. First of all, what does it mean to shuffle? Where do we want to start? Just things are coming to my mind now. So in the field of, let's say, the psychic world of using your intuition through the tools and the divination of all the tools, one aspect is a ring. What does that mean, Mark? Well, there are people out there who will take a ring from your finger and hold it and feel the energy. You don't see them saying, oh, don't touch that ring, leave that ring alone. No, because they have to feel energy. Okay, so depending on who you are, you might like to feel somebody's energy. So what I used to do is ask them to put their hands down on the table like so. And I would then put my hands over their hands. So it would look something like this. And I'd go up and down. Sometimes I'd just gently touch, but not much because I'm just working on the energy. If I gently touch, it just means I'm trying to awaken that energy there. And then I'd come up and then I'd feel their energy and start to feel them. That was what I did before I even started shuffling the cards, to connect myself with their energy. So it's very difficult for me to understand when somebody says, don't touch my cards. However, I do understand that somebody doesn't want somebody to touch their cards because they might have negative energy. What does that mean, Matt? Well, it means that if I feel that you have negative energy, I've already created a fear base of my session. Nobody worried me about energy. Here, take my cards, do what you want with them. It ain't going to make any difference. Actually, here, take my cards, put your energy into them, so it's going to be easier for me to work with these cards. So everybody has their comfort zone. And I think what we all need to do is figure out what our comfort zone is. So here, take my cards. Here, leave my cards alone. Which is right, which is wrong? Whatever feels right to you is right or wrong. There is no real energy that's going to contaminate your cards, and they're not going to work for the next client. I did this for 12, 13, 14 full years. People touch my cards, they looked at my cards, they turned their cards so they can see them themselves. They did all sorts of stuff. But the most important thing is never let anything affect you. Once it's affected you, you'll lose your connection. So that's the first thing. Comfort is really good. And how I see it is that it's a natural progression. So you might start by doing this. I can't even do it because they're too big. Get these out, Mr. B. So you might start by your session, you might start doing this, okay? Again, it's a preference that you have, okay? For me, oh, could I go into detail with this? Could I go into great detail with this? But suffice to say, for me, by doing that, it means that you're not always going to get all the cards shuffled, because when you do that, you might have 7 or 8 all attached together. You might do that and the 7, 8 are still there. So the next time you come to do a reading, you think, oh shit, these are the same cards that are coming up again. Is that right or wrong? No, it isn't right or wrong. It might have been the exact cards that they needed. But as soon as your mind kicks in and you think you've made a mistake, then all of a sudden you're ruining the reading. So for me, what I used to do, I might as well keep these cards now. What I used to do is this. In front of my clients, I would do this. This was the first time I read, okay? 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I carry on doing that until the whole deck was done. And I used to look at my client, and my client used to look at me, and I used to smile, and they'd smile back. And I just keep doing that because the energy in the room was filling up, and they could see that, well, he's taking it serious. He's taking it serious. He wants to get every card there, and he wants to show their client that he's not cheating or he's not putting any cards where they shouldn't be, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that was there. That was there. And now I'd start the reading. How I'd start, I wouldn't go from left to right. I'd just start to attune to them and just choose a card and turn it over and then start to read. And then if I went for another card, it was there. Spirit would guide me to whichever one. I wouldn't think about it. I wouldn't train myself. I'd just go with the flow. So I might take 5 from there or 10 from there. But at the end of the day, that's how I'd do it. Sometimes I'd only take 1 card and do a full reading. Sometimes I'd leave all the cards there and start to read for them, just speak to them and start to read. And then at the end of the hour, they'd say, you haven't even picked up a card. And I'd say, that's because I didn't need a card today with you because your energy is so strong. After a while, maybe a few months, I started to do this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Until I finished putting all the cards out. Why? Because 3 felt like a divine number. I really enjoyed the 3. However, with the 3 came a bit of a mishmash with my cards because they weren't equal in pack. So, like, oh, okay. So I used to just do it this way, but then sometimes I used to do it that way and just change because of the feeling of just movement. Okay, so I'd go 1 there, 1 there, and then I'd split them to kind of like equal packs. And that was for a while. Again, it was fantastic. The readings were great. Then after I finished the reading, I went like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now we've got 6 decks. And oh, here we go. 6 in front of my client. And sometimes I'd do this. I'd go all over the place. I'd go everywhere, right? But then I started just doing this. Because I knew that by doing this, all the cards would be separate and they wouldn't be anywhere near each other. this was a perfect way for me to then continue doing this for the rest of my 2 decades of reading. So all of those things that you just saw was at the beginning of my reading career, but then I stuck to this. So you can't see, but there is basically 6 decks. Okay, 6 decks. So once I've got the 6 decks, once they're all there, I would instinctively just grab 1, 2, 3, put it there, and grab another 1, 2, 3. By instinct, it means that I didn't think, I just went for whichever pack I felt was right. So whichever deck I just went for, 3 and 3. So now I've got my 2 decks, and I would start my reading by, again, just turning a first card over, whichever felt right. I wouldn't do it in any kind of order when I was doing the reading. I would just do the reading because I wouldn't be thinking about the cards, only what's going to be shown to me as I'm speaking. So as I'm reading for you, the first thing I'd say to you is that you're not drinking enough water, and there's a possibility in your life that I can feel that somebody may have let you down along your journey, and it feels like because of that, over the years, I feel like you've lost your petals, you've lost your energy, you feel like you're like the flower is dying, but you're not, because what I'm seeing is that if you drink more and follow your heart, that you'll start to regain energy and your heart will become stronger. And once you've done that, then you'll get your power back. So the cards speak so strong, they're so powerful. So then I'd say in the next 4 months, you need to take control of your life. You will need to be the driver of your life. You need to take control of your life in so many ways, and you'll find that because you take control, you get your power back, and you'll be able to feel the energy growing within you and around you. You'll heal more, you'll strengthen more, and you'll see your path. And then it becomes obvious of what you want to do with your life. And once that happens, the energy around you becomes that strong, and you will break free from whatever is holding you back. So within these 4 months, within the first 3 months, you will make a decision to break free, and it could have been a relationship, it could have been a partnership in business, but it says that you are definitely breaking free. Now, this is how I would be reading, and I'd be feeling it through the cards, not looking at my clients. So this is the way I shuffle my cards. There are so many ways to shuffle. You can actually give the cards to your client to shuffle, to put energy in that as well. And that's another way of doing it. But for me, my comfort zone, how I felt so I didn't feel as if I'd done anything wrong, so I could do a good reading, was the 3 and 3, 6 decks, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Keep going till they've all gone. And then take 3 of the decks, put it over here, and the other last 3, put it there, and then you begin your reading. That's how I did it. Now, if you start to do this, if you start to feel uncomfortable in any way because of a reason that pops up in your mind or your heart, or you just feel it just doesn't feel right, follow that. Because this, the way I do it, doesn't mean that you're going to be comfortable doing it. The whole point of mixing cards to me is a way that you feel comfortable that your cards have had a good old mix, so that they're really, I mean, you can't get, in my opinion, you can't get a better mix than putting 6 decks out and keep doing that. It's a perfect mix that you're never going to get the same reading, unless they need the same reading, of course, but you're never going to feel that, oh, I didn't mix them good enough. So I've always felt comfortable doing it this way. Thus, I mix differently than most people. It doesn't matter how you mix them. I'll repeat this one more time. As long as you are comfortable after you've mixed them, then the reading is going to be fantastic. The moment you start feeling uncomfortable with the way you shuffle and mix cards, then you're going to have not such a good reading, because you're bringing in an energy of a little bit of a doubt, because, oh, maybe I've not done it right, or maybe I should have done it differently. Therefore, practice different forms of shuffling. Practice different forms of placing the cards what feels comfortable for you. I know a lot of readers, when I first started, right at the very beginning, I read angel cards. And what I did with angel cards, I'd have three decks. The first deck would be the past. The second deck would be the present, and the third one would be the future. And that was taught to me by an angel reader. Didn't feel comfortable for me because it was too regimental. And I prefer flow. So 2 decks here at either side is really easy for me. What is it? No idea. What is that? No idea. But my cards are going to tell me what it is. So I'm not then... So you see, sometimes when you speak of the past and then of the present and then the future, sometimes it's nice to see the future to reveal why the past took place, or the present to understand the past and the present and the future. So it for me, I leave it open. I don't say to myself, okay, let me talk about your past, let me talk about your present, let me talk about your future. I just read the cards like I just did then. And I first of all started, it looks like, you need to drink a lot more water. It looks like you've got an issue with love. Somebody's let you down. I can feel that your energy is depleting. Your heart is not too good. I'm looking at purple, which is a great example of spiritual awareness. It means that you're growing through the suffering that you're going through. So with this one card can lead me on to a whole conversation for 1 hour. But because I put another card down, this was the card of normally breakup, it makes sense that this card is the reason why at this present in time, this present, right, not the past, I started talking about the present, then would lead to the future. So it looks like you're going through frustration. The second card then starts to tell me, it looks like there might be a breakup and you're not so sure about the relationship that you're in. And then the last one is that came into the future. But then sometimes you can go back into the past again. So I like a flow, and I do not like to say this is the way it is, because I think that spirit likes to talk about many different forms and aspects of your life. And sometimes we go from one path to another, which is past or present or future, or past, future and present. Therefore, you're more open to be able to give, in my opinion, a much deeper reading with a lot of different, here we go. And like people go, oh my God, I wish I'd have wrote it down. Or, oh my God, I wish I'd have recorded it. And I had no issues with people recording at all. Not one. Record away, write away, whatever you want to do, because I have no fear. I'm not worried about anything that, could make a mistake. You write away. This is only my information that I give to you. It could be wrong, but then something in here might help you along your journey. I'm not saying I'm a master tarot reader. I am Solitaire, the male version of Solitaire. No, I'm just reading these cards, and sometimes the future, the past and present might make sense. And a lot of the times when I finished, my client would be crying. And that was a very normal thing for me. And that's, as you speak to your client, there is an energy that sometimes you can feel yourself and think, oh, that was powerful. No, that's not ego. You can feel the power in certain words, or you've touched upon something that was like, boom, it just hit the heart and they just exploded instantly. So a lot of my clients, I mean, I don't really know where all my clients are. They're not on here watching, but a lot of my clients used to say, as soon as I started speaking, they'd burst into tears. So that was very, very normal. And that was, to me, I saw that as the heart opening. So like you're healing straight away, which is beautiful. You're letting go. So hopefully this mini workshop on how to shuffle cards may have helped you a little bit. But ultimately, I'll leave you on this note. There is no wrong or right way. Don't look upon somebody else as Mark's doing it this way, so this is the right way. No, because if I was doing it now, I might have changed the way I read cards again in the next 3 months. So the most important thing you should get out of this is follow your own gut feeling, and most of all, follow this amazing, how do I say it, flow, guidance that is given to you right then. So just follow it, just flow with it, and don't question it. Don't question it. This is the way I've done it, and that's the way it is. Why did you do that, Mark? I have no idea. Oh, so you're not very good at it? I don't know. I just did what I did because it felt right. Oh, well, you really should know what you're doing. Well, not really, mate, because that's not how this works. You go with the flow. It's a kind of energy that can't be seen or can't be worked out or can't be strategically written down and done. It doesn't work like that, because if you're doing it that way, you're working in the mind. So for me, you're working in your heart, and your heart might tell you to do things differently from every single reading. Just because you mix or shuffle cards differently every time you do a reading doesn't mean it's wrong or right. It just means that you're flowing, and that's it. And people can feel it. People know it. If it's too regimental, it's like, oh, your heart says maybe that's not really the way you've been. You're working in a set way that might not be the way that I would want. I just like natural. Whatever you do, and I just enjoy it. So a lot of people used to come to me and say, oh, you've done it differently this week. Oh, you haven't used as many cards this week. Oh, you haven't done this. That's right. Because I go with the flow. I go with however it's meant to be. I might never use a card for 2 or 3 days. And then I want to use a card because I enjoy it. I love using the cards as well. They're a great tool. Cleansing, clearing cards. You know what? When you're working with cards, you're working on a vibration that is far greater than when you're just cleaning the house or you're just walking in a crowded supermarket. When you're using the cards, the energy in the room should be of high energy. So if you're not cleansing yourself, if you're not using oils, if you're not using all the incense you can to create the energy in that room, then maybe yes, you might need to clean the cards. But if you are of high vibration and you're thinking to yourself all the time that if I can cleanse this room, then we can bring spirit into the room more easier. If spirit comes into the room, then you can feel things more, you can hear things more, you can see things more. So as that's happening, your cards are being cleansed. When you are laying cards out, and the hands that you use, if you're of good energy and you're doing readings when you're feeling great, this is what I always say, don't do readings when you're feeling down. Don't pick a card when you're feeling bad. Don't do a reading when you're feeling bad, because it's already tarnished. You do a reading when you're balanced and you feel happy. That's the best time to do a reading and to shuffle your cards. Now, if you're shuffling your cards and you're happy and you're feeling great and powerful, right? Then it's obvious that the cards are going to get that same energy. So for me, I think whatever you do is the right thing to do. But it's like going to the supermarket when you're starving. You're going to buy stuff that you're going to go home and you're never going to eat. But if you go to the supermarket with a full stomach and you're feeling happy, then there's a lot of things that you're not really bothered about that you wouldn't touch, right? So it's the same with this. Do the work when you're the most happiest, strongest mind, body, and spirit. That would be my message today. On a final note, thank you so much for all of you guys who did the tarot course. I hope you enjoyed my truth, my 10 hours of intensive 2 decades of understanding these cards. Also, if any of you guys have not done the course and you feel the pull to do the course is normally £250, which includes a free deck of Carl Rohrig cards, which I believe are one of the most powerful cards in the world. I think he's a genius. That comes with these, and also with DHL delivery all over the world apart from India. So if you're from India, please don't buy the course. We can't get anything to you. However, today, from my heart to yours, the next 30 people who book the course right now, I'll put the course up for 150. That includes the cards and free DHL worldwide apart from India. So that's from my heart to yours. Enjoy the course, and good luck, everybody. Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity for you to see my beautiful legs. Take care. See you soon, guys. Just kidding.